Make a date with Rev Dr Ebenezer Markwei at 6 a.m. from Monday to Saturday on Graphic Online via Facebook and YouTube as he expounds on matters of faith.
I like to capture my thoughts with the words, the seventh appeal. The seventh appeal, the seventh appeal. Now, if you remember, when Joseph was interpreting the dreams and was talking to Pharaoh, he said, Pharaoh, look for somebody to serve your dream. Look for a servant. Look for somebody who's going to serve this purpose, who's going to serve your dream, who's going to serve the things that I've outlined, who's going to supervise, who's going to serve the dream. That was what Joseph said to Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh turned to him and said, I can't find anybody else. Now you do the job. Interesting. Are you aware that when Joseph was leaving his father's house in Hebron, he was a prince. When he was leaving his father's house, he was the boss. He was Obuntia. He was the man. He was the main man, Oga. He was a guy. He was a chief. He was a big boy. He was a favored person. Probably he had a golden spoon in his mouth. He was a guy walking on feathers. He was a guy walking around with, a coat of many colors, strutting his stuff around. That was Joseph. But guess what? At the time of destiny, at the time for purpose to be fully revealed, for purpose to explode in the arena of life for Joseph, guess what Joseph said? He said, Pharaoh, you look for a servant. So he moved from a position of prince to servant. Moved from a position of prince to publican. So I want to serve. I want to be a public servant. That's what he said. Service has an appeal. Service has an appeal. Servanthood has an appeal. Or we have people who are looking for power, all those things, and all they want to do is to boss. And most of the time to ruin the nation's economy and steal from the nation. Yeah. Hardly do you see servant leadership. Hardly do you see people who want to serve the people instead of lord it over the people. Joseph said, listen, you have a dream, you have a vision, you have something that will be of benefit to the whole nation of Egypt and to the rest of the known world at that time. Look for servant leaders. Somebody who is going to lead by service, not who's going to lead by lordship. Servant leadership. Servant leadership is a cry of the people, is a cry in the heart of God. Christ came to serve. The big man himself went down on his knees and he was washing the feet of his disciples. God came down all the way from heaven to serve humanity. Servant leadership is what we want. We don't want lordship leadership. We don't want people who are going to boss us in such a way that they're going to raise the scepter of wickedness. So that you can't breathe, you can't scream, you can't even have a contrary view. Servant leadership is what it is. We've been called to serve. We have a practice when we are ordaining all our pastors. We make them wash the feet of people, and their wives hold the towels by themselves. And then they go on their knees, and then we bring people. That's what Jesus did. It is servant leadership. It doesn't matter who you are, pastors, whatever, it is servant leadership. Pastors to president or people who want to be president, servant leadership. Parliamentarians, it is servant leadership. You don't only come begging when you want to be voted into power and go and be pounding fufu and all those things, sweeping people's houses, just to appeal to their emotions and promise them that you're going to serve them. And then when you come into power, you forget them. And you go on this thing and you talk loudly and brag and boast and domineer people. You can't allow people to breathe. Servant leadership. If every leader is going to know this, it will change the world. It will change the system. It will bring good governance. Servant leadership. Servant leadership is what is needed. Joseph said, look for a servant. Somebody to serve your dream. I had my own dreams. I had my own this thing. But now, look for somebody to serve. Servant leadership is never a mistake. It's never a sign of weakness. It's a sign of inner strength and maturity. Well, the choice as to what kind of leadership you want is yours. See you later.
Please visit our website, graphic.com.gh, or follow us on Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube and Twitter at GraphicGH.
Subscribe now.